line conversation. In terms of wide receiver, I wanted to just kind of tell you who my top guys are, and then give me some feedback, tell me where we agree, disagree. I am still the belief that Carnell Tate is wide receiver one for me. I know that it is a very popular thing to say that he's not twitchy and fast and he's not Malik Neighbors. And yes to all of those things. But like, you can still win in ways that aren't. I think we've gotten enamored with people that are, and look, I'm all for TikTok. I'm on TikTok. But I think TikTok culture just wants to see like the fast, flashy, like in and out. And that's why I think Jordan Tyson has become so, and in lots of ways, they see that in and out speed at the top of the route and they become enamored with it. But like, there's other ways to be a really good wide receiver. I think Carnell Tate is he might not be twitchy, but he's so smooth in the way, and he's a really good run blocker, which like matters in the league. So for me, I've got Carnell Tate as number one. I have Mekhi Lemon as number two. I think Mekhi Lemon is going to be a really, really good NFL player. I personally have, and this is where I'm excited to hear your feedback on this. I have KC Concepcion as 3 and Omar Cooper as 4. And then I actually have Jordan Tyson at 5. I think that there's a lot of, and it's not just the medical stuff. I think that there's a lot that shows up. And the thing with Tyson is there's so many different opinions, right? Like people that I know we both respect, like Connor and Trevor, Tyson is their number one guy, right? Like that's, and there's a lot of people that have Tyson as their number one guy. But for me, so anyways, Concepcion 3, Omar Cooper, and then Tyson, and then I would probably have Boston at 6. Yeah. So where do you kind of agree, disagree on that? And we'll
frankly, I don't have really any qualms with your rankings, just because there's, like you were saying, there's a lot of varying opinions on these guys. My top receivers in this class, and I'll have a full receiver ranking thing coming out later this week. Jordan Tyson's my number one wide receiver in this class. I'm enamored with his play style. I recently compared him in a mock draft to Odell Beckham Jr. I think he's got that type of talent. Now, the toughness, the medical questions, that's fair, because we're not inside, as kind of quote from the West Wing. Like I'm not inside in terms of what goes on inside the NFL franchise. And Tyson's my number 8 overall player in this class. I think very highly of him. And then right below him is Carnell Tate as my number 10 player in this class. I love Tate.
Can I interrupt just real quick?
Sure, go ahead.
Do you have as prospects, do you think of Tyson as a better prospect than Tedero McMillan coming out last year?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I know that's probably going to irk some fans the wrong way. I wasn't particularly
people can have a problem with it. Whatever.
Yeah, I wasn't high on T-Mac this past season or this past draft, and I did get some heat for it, but I was glad to be proven wrong. I think I was looking. I have a thing for, or I have a bias towards twitchier players.
Okay,
and it's kind of why I'll just go ahead and say it. I have KC Concepcion over Omar Cooper.
Yep.
But it's super close between those two, grade-wise.
So would you have Tate? Is Tate 2 or is
Tate's
Tate
2?
Okay.
Lemon's 3. KC is 4.
Uh-huh.
Cooper's 5, and then Boston is 6.
Okay.
And I'll reveal the rest of the rankings later this week. I don't want to spoil everything else outside of that, but those are my top receivers. I think we both all view them in a similar fashion. I know fans have a concern about Concepcion's hands. I think it's more of a catching technique, and I think that's very coachable. When I first started playing football in high school, I had some issues with drops, and it was more a catching technique thing. So I worked on it, and I'll be the first to admit, or I'll go ahead and just admit this. I wasn't playing a ton. I barely played in high school, but it gave me a lot of valuable lessons and it taught me a lot about this game. And so catching technique is super important as a wide receiver.
For sure.
And I think Concepcion can work on that. And I don't think he necessarily has super bad hands. I think he just has those moments where he claps for the ball instead of just kind of patiently waiting, diamond hand, kind of just waiting for it to come in. Fingers first, let the ball come in and conceal the catch.
I agree.
So I don't really have an issue with Concepcion in that regard. I think he's one of the best route runners in this class. He's a twitchy player. I think that's the difference for me between Cooper and Concepcion is KC is a little bit more twitchier for me.
Yeah.
He's more explosive after the catch, and he will split defenders after the catch. I don't think Cooper has that explosiveness to win after the catch. He can create after the catch, make defenders miss, break a few tackles or so. Like there's that popular clip against Illinois where he catches a slant off the RPO from Fernando Mendoza, breaks 5, 6, 7 tackles, breaks tackles from basically every player on defense. And it's a 60-yard gain because he couldn't get brought down. He made the first guy miss, shut off the next guy. It was like a Marshawn Lynch type of run.
Yeah.
Someone said he had like jello-like legs. Like it were just like stretchy legs. Just he couldn't go down just because he has such great lower half, like super strong in the lower half and the core. It allows him, and a good center of gravity that allows him to stay balanced overall. So I don't have an issue with your rankings whatsoever. I mean, if Mekhi Lemon was someone's number one wide receiver, I wouldn't have an issue with it. I really wouldn't.
Yeah.
Same with Tate. Like Tate is right now the consensus number one guy.
I see him been mocked to the Rams a lot. I see Mekhi Lemon, and he is that kind of. I'm not calling him Puka, but like they like those guys that can kind of. They don't care as much about the separation. They just want physical wide receivers. Mm-hmm. I mean, I know Mekhi Lemon's 5'11", but he's a really good player that if utilized the right way is going to. I think it's going to shock people how good he has, and I'm not ready to say he's got like JSN kind of talent, but like